running. I will count us in. You want me to put the heater on real quick? I can put the heater on real quick. You look cold. You look like you look. I don't know. You look
like
bougie. You look like an Eskimo.
36 degrees.
Yeah, this is what we call warm in Ohio.
Well, that's better than 32.
It is.
I'm just saying. Did you keep the heat on in the
Can't help it. I'm cold. This is Florida. That's Ohio.
That's true.
I didn't know the window was open the whole time.
I forgot about it. I did, but like I'm just so.
My feet were cold. My arms, the hands are cold.
Really?
Yes.
The funny thing is, when
You didn't care. None of you.
We got Eskimo
Yes.
Keisha in the house.
Right, Eskimo Keisha.
Eskimo Keisha.
Say what you want.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, you got something with this one, baby. 2024, let's go. People got it twisted. They think cause we Christian, we soft. Son, we saved, not soft. Let's go.
Clap your hands if you know that you've been saved. Do your dance if you know that you've been saved. Give him praise if you know that you've been saved. If you've been saved, then you put your whole self in. He takes your old self out. You put your new self in and turns your life around. Hey.
I represent Christ cause he is my everything. When I got saved, yeah, I got a mustard seed. Now that's the faith that
All right,
he
you
placed
ready for this,
inside of me.
Ty?
I gotta let it grow and become what it's supposed to be. I get running like Forrest Gump cause I know I can't walk it out. I'm seeking God's face. Matthew 6 is what I'm blazed. Let the smoke clear the haters out. I'm tried through the fire, but by grace I have made it out.
Yo, called up my boy Ron. He said don't walk it out, gotta jog it out. What these haters.
Well, Keisha, you look a tad bit cold over there.
I am.
Has the Ohio weather come up against your Florida preference?
Yes, it has.
Eskimo Keisha.
The darkness has brought the chill.
All right, well, you stay bundled up, Keisha. So what are
Okay.
we talking about today, Keisha?
We are talking about building confidence when you're broken
Oh.
and the fine line that your ego walks.
Oh, put a dagger in my heart.
That's right. That's
Oh,
right.
jeez.
Whoa,
I have to stitch that back up.
getting deep in this house.
It is. So I really want to talk about when you're broken. Let's go back to the mess
Sure.
and talk about some of the things that you've done to dig yourself out.
Okay.
And what practices did you do? What tools? Do you have a book you recommend? Is there something that really, can you just, name a few things or things that worked the best for you? And is it part of your practice today?
Okay. You're really going to make me put it all out there, right? So, I will really say I really advocate against the stigma about counseling. I think it's healthy to have counselors in all areas of your life. And that was really a game changer for me, is doing counseling. And not just counseling, I switched from traditional counseling over to Christian counseling because I had become saved and I was deepening my faith and relying more on God. And I needed just that viewpoint of like the scripture viewpoint of that. And so counseling was really big for me. I never ever believed counseling was shameful. I don't really understand how we got there as a society because
I don't ever believe that counseling is shameful. I think it's a perspective from people who don't want to do it.
I think it's a stigma.
It's a stigma.
It has to be broken. And again, it goes back generational.
Sure.
In the olden days, they just didn't do that
They didn't
stuff.
do
Right?
it.
They just swept everything under the rug and off we go. Get on our little wagon and go. And now it's, a lot of people don't want to say they're in counseling. I don't have any problem telling people I'm in counseling. So counseling was a really big thing for me. And really, it's no shocker here, but writing. For me, when you are broken, you lose your voice.
Some people never find their voice.
And you never find your voice, but you lose your voice. And I'm always really like very literal and figuratively when I'm thinking about these things because if I lose my voice here, I can find my voice here. Right. I can put pen to paper. And, you know, through some of my deepest, darkest days, I produced a lot of my best material.
I think that's true because you use this voice instead of this voice.
I use my writing voice instead of relying on my voice, you know, because it's raw and unfiltered when it's on paper.
Right.
I always tell people, you know, I write. That's what I do. I essentially puke it out on paper and then I pay people to come clean it up, right? Like I pay editors. I will never put out something that does not go through editing. You need to have your best version when it goes out. So I'm a huge proponent for editing, but I'm not going to get so far off tangent. One of the best books I ever read was Boundaries by Henry McCloud. I think it's, check his name for me, Ty.
Oh, what? Henry
Boundaries.
McCloud?
It's either Henry McCloud or Henry Cloud, but it really changes your viewpoint on boundaries. And again, talks about what we talked about in an earlier episode, why they're so important.
Yeah.
So I did a lot of those things. And for me, I had to learn to be comfortable with myself. So I always joke and tell people, like, through my recovery, I dated myself. Literally, I would go to the movies by myself. I would go to dinner by myself. And a lot of that was I had to get comfortable back in that field again, but I had to see how people operated.
Sure.
Because I needed a different perspective than what I knew it to be. Because, you know, after the trauma, I didn't want to be around certain types of people and I wasn't comfortable and I was skittish. And it was like that rabbit that just hurry up and runs away. And that's what it was for me. So I really had to retrain my mind. And again, you'll hear me say this all the time, music. Music was, I have such a fond love for music. I believe that it is its own language and it can really speak to you. I often said I get a lot of messages, you know, from the Lord through the music. And I believe that that's a way that you could be spoken to. So those are big things for me now. Music is still a really big part of what I do. I listen to a lot. I have a lot of musician friends.
Sure.
And I really like to support them through their music. And they're all different genres. Like just kind of like writing. When I write, I go into different genres. Same thing with music. I listen to different genres. Writing, obviously. Now, I have gotten to the point where I don't feel like I need counseling anymore. And so I don't have that, but I do have a counselor on speed dial in my phone if I should need that again to make an appointment. So I really, for me, just focused on stuff to help me heal my mental health. You know, the emotional health came, you know, the bruises fade on the outside over time, but the wounds on the inside, they need a lot of work.
Yeah.
They need a lot of work. And if you got to put in the work. And for me, because I can use tools as avoidance, you know, because I'm a procrastinator. Well, I've been a procrastinator, and especially writing, because I have always found that I produce my best work under the tightest deadlines. Now, I don't like doing that because I don't function well because I'm always at the deadline. So, you know, that's still something I'm working on, still a work in progress on that. But that's what it was for me. So I have to be really careful because a lot of the things that can help me, I can also use it as a distraction so I don't actually do the work.
Who are you saying? Henry Cloud?
Henry Cloud. Yeah. Henry Cloud,
author.
Boundaries.
Yep, Dr. Henry Cloud.
I recommend that book to everyone, no matter what you're going through, because when we start to understand boundaries and the purpose of boundaries and what they can do for your life, you will be amazed at how you can just move through circumstances. Now, what about you? You have, I know you have lots of tools.
Let me get my tool belt out.
It's like, you know, you got the tool belt, boom, 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 boom.
There's a lot of things that I use that's probably unconventional. I'm going to start with the most important thing.
Okay.
For me, it's looking in the mirror.
Oh,
because the lies you tell yourself in your head do not look like the person in the mirror. And it starts with basic things. And I've done this for a long period of time. So I have some regulars that I use, but this came from Lisa Nichols.
Okay.
This came from Lisa Nichols.
I always wondered where you got it from. Because I'm
Lisa
telling you, the
Nichols.
first time I walked in your bathroom and saw this stuff on the mirror, I was like, what is this chick doing? She is crazy.
Wrote all over, and I write on my mirror all the time. Every week and once a month, I put my goal all the way across the top. And then I put my 3 things that I'm going to focus on for that month. And then I put a Bible verse. And then I also put to the right where I'm brushing my teeth, I put something intentional.
Oh, okay.
And those are things that help me personally focus on me, because the only person I can control is me.
Exactly.
And I have to work so hard on my mindset every day.
Yeah.
I'm in a service industry. I'm front facing. I have to deal with people. I'm a problem solver. I am a go-getter, but I am also somebody who has to be, I am the chief complaint officer. You know, they come to my desk first for everything to be fixed. And so I'm the problem solver.
You want them to take a number.
Yeah, I
signs.
need. It's only temporary. And I have to psych myself every single day to do that. Some days are really hard. I have a load that people don't know that I carry. It's not just about me. It's about other people and our business. And, you know, like everybody else, we all have things that we carry. But for me, I have to really work on myself every single day. And when I tell you that I talk to myself in that mirror every day, believe me, I talk to myself every day in that mirror. And some days, on hard days, I'll even voice note myself so I can hear it. And then when I get my little happy rear end in the car and I put it in reverse, I start playing that voice note to myself over and over and over again.
That's
and
a great idea.
I do it all the way to the second traffic light. And at the second traffic light, that's when I go, it is now my time to start my day. There's no excuses. I'm going to hold myself accountable today. And for the times that I think that I can't handle it, I'm going to give myself grace. And I tell myself that every single day.
That works.
It does work. And so a lot of times I'll catch either Instagram or somebody else will have a prayer or a message or whatever. And I will play that until I get to the second traffic light, whatever I need. And sometimes I've had to play it 30 times to get to my job, right?
Yeah.
And I have. It just on what needs to feed your soul and get you, you know, I'm my own hype girl. I am.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hype me up in the morning.
You got to know how to cheer yourself first.
I have to cheer myself. And I have to be able to cheer myself before I can cheer other people. You cannot pour from an empty cup.
That is so true. You need to have people that feel you as well as what you're giving out.
Yes. But I get so drained by the end of the day that if I'm not my own hype woman,
right.
And sometimes it's music, sometimes it just depends. It could be music, it could be a podcast. I listen to podcasts all the time.
A reel,
anything. It could be laughter.
Right.
I love silly dog. I love the dogs and the baby, the new baby memes. The chicken ones are my favorite, where the chickens are all dressed up in the clothes, the 70s clothes.
Those are funny. I like the Bigfoot and Abominable Snowman.
Yes. Okay.
Those are hilarious.
So, it's whatever it takes to make, because laughter fills my heart. Right. But I also know that people depend on me. And here's what I'm going to say is the most important mental health fact. You do not know the weight somebody is carrying.
That's true.
When you look at somebody, they could just be broken. You don't know what their night was. You don't know what they woke up to. You don't know if it's their last dime. You don't know. And I don't assume that I know. But I also know when I do see people in distress that I leave them better than I found them.
Yeah.
And I try to be very encouraging and lift them. I'm not afraid to ask people, can I pray for you today?
Well, yeah, you gotta take the spotlight off yourself.
Right. It is not about me.
Right.
And the other part of that is I do want to leave them better than I found them.
Yeah.
And for me, that's sincere and genuine. And a lot of people come to my desk because they don't have anybody else who's going to be their hype girl. And I try to be complimentary. You know, there's just a lot of things. Life is hard for a lot of people. And you just have to see it and acknowledge it. And not that I say, oh, you know, I am genuinely praying for people. I am genuinely wishing them positive vibes. I am genuinely, lifting them up. And then celebrating, also just celebrating with people. You know, we live in a military town and people get let go all the time.
Right.
We live in a military town where pilots get let go, and their life is changing. Things happen. People get promoted. They get moved. They get transferred, all of those things. And they're only here for a short amount of time. But the impact that you make while they're there is important.
You might be the only ray of kindness they get that day.
That's exactly. Do you know what it's like to be a drill sergeant and yell at people all day long?
I
And
certainly wouldn't want to be around a drill sergeant.
But I'm just saying, can you imagine the pressure that they feel?
Yeah.
And then, I'm a hugger. When they come down and I'm like, do you need a hug today? Oh, I would love a hug today,
It'd be like drop and give me 30 and Keisha's like, can I have a hug first?
Yeah, it is like that. But it means the most to the most people who need it, right?
I agree.
I had a lady touch my hand the other day and it was so poignant. God, did I mean it?
Yeah. And a lot of times you don't realize that you need it more than that other person does.
Right. And it was just the connection.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm great. I really am." I was so shocked. She's 90 years old.
Oh my. She's a long time.
Yeah. Sometimes she's a pill.
Yeah.
But what she said was so kind and poignant. And I was like, wow, what a perspective.
Yeah, I've often said, like, a thing that saddens me is I feel like after the pandemic, a lot of society forgot what it meant to be human.
Yeah.
And we've lost our ability and our skill of empathy. And that is really few and far between anymore. And so in this day and age, nothing really ever surprises me anymore.
And vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerable. I mean, people aren't willing to be vulnerable because, let's face it, there's a lot of bullies and stuff out there, and in person and on cyber.
Sure.
And you have to have really thick
that's
skin. You got to have thick skin when you're going in, especially if you're trying to rebuild your confidence. You can't be meek and weak.
Yeah.
To do that. It's going to require a lot of work. All right, she's warming up here in Ohio. She's warming up, Ty. She's warming up.
Here we go.
She's warming up. She's caught on her cord.
It's okay.
And that's something.
It's all right. Happens to the best of us.
That's right. It happens to the best of us.
But I know that when you take the time to do things like that for yourself, you empower yourself to get through whatever it takes. And for me, that's important.
Yeah.
Not only is it important, but knowing that I have the ability to do it for myself. And I have the gift to share it with other people. Because
it is a gift.
It's a gift.
It is a gift.
One of the things that I used to do, and I don't do it as much anymore, but it's something we do in networking each month. And affirmation cards. Love affirmation cards.
Yeah.
I'm definitely creating my own deck of affirmation cards. I've been wanting that for a couple years. I'm going to make that happen, universe. And I want a specific kind of card. But I love to get gifted those cards.
Right.
And they really do have an imprint in my life. And I think that those are things that people need more of. And even if you're just flipping a card, putting it on your mirror, or putting it someplace important where you can look at it again. I carry a lot of them in my handbag. Because sometimes it's just like a mystery deck. I swirl it around and pull one out. Like, thank you, universe.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah. So
I'm fond of the tea bags that have the messages on them. No, like Yogi Tea has that. And
yes.
I'm always like, ooh, what's my message
Like a fortune
going to be?
cookie.
Right, like a fortune cookie.
Yeah, they do make a difference. But
They do.
building your confidence when you're broken, man, it's not easy. I can really tell you that this year has been about revisiting my confidence. Not that I'm not a confident person, but I have my days when I'm not. And one of my new mentors, Michelle Kofer, has been really helping me with mindset.
Yeah.
And I met her a couple months ago in Atlanta at a conference, and man, she has the master on the mindset. And I let that kind of slip away.
Yeah.
And I needed to get back to my habits and routine and a morning prayer call. You know, I'm on a 5 o'clock morning prayer call, those kinds of things. I love routine. And when you get out of it, you know what you're missing. And when you get back into it, you're like, I got this. You know, like I'm like, whoop, 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 whoop.
I don't know. I'm more of the fly by the seat of your pants
Yeah, I know you
kind
are.
of person.
But I
don't really have a routine.
I have a very strong routine. And when I'm off my game, when I'm out of my routine.
Yeah.
And it does make a difference to me.
Sure.
And how I show up. But when I'm doing it, I feel very empowered. And it does help me with my confidence. It helps me with my mindset. It helps me with taking care of my self-care. You know, self-care is so important.
So important.
Again, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And
You got to take care of yourself first.
right. And there's a lot of times at your job that's very draining and nobody is pouring into you.
Oh.
So unless you're working on yourself and personal development every single day, which you should be at some point, something during the week, the month, whatever, but you have to make it a priority.
Yeah,
it's no different than missing exercise every day
You know, two things.
or healthy food.
When you said about the cup being empty, I was thinking like King James Version, thy cup is emptieth.
Yes.
And exercise. So, you know, my sister, my twister, she's super personal trainer, right?
Right.
And I always have like a wicked sense of humor. Like I'm that way. And I showed up to her class one time and I wore this shirt that said, exercise, I thought you said extra fries. And every time I could, I was like in her face, in her view, in the mirror. So, I was moving around like, so she can read it. And I was just chuckling because she was trying so hard to hold it together. And then I was at a store shopping one time and, the big bags you can buy to take all your stuff out. They had one that said that and I bought it and then it somehow went missing from my trunk and I'm pretty sure I know whose garage it's sitting in. But I just thought that was so funny. Like, exercise.
You do have a wicked sense of humor.
I thought you said extra fries. And, I'll work out for extra fries or donuts. Those two I'll work out for.
Hey,
but,
I only run for hamburgers and ice cream.
I'm telling you, like, I'll walk fast. I don't run, but I'll walk fast.
Well, remember we went through the jump roping season?
Yeah. I really.
Could you see us jump roping together and not?
I prefer to forget that season.
No, but it was so.
It was painful.
It was so fun. There was lots of laughter.
Yeah.
There was lots. Yeah, there was lots of laughter.
Yeah. Like. You're stupid for this idea. That's the laughter. So let's talk about ego.
Okay.
Ego is a big thing when you're trying to build confidence because you can very easily go into ego. There was a time, not too far gone, where my ego could span the globe a couple times. And I'm very open about that. I believe people need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Not as a way of bragging, but it's the next part of how you're actually humbled from your ego.
Right.
Because one thing you have to remember is your ego can't be bigger than the door God is opening for you because you'll never get through.
You'll never get through.
And you got to drop your ego at the door. Because again, if you go in thinking you're all that to a place where you're invited as a guest, it's not going to go well for you.
Yes.
Because you're not going to be all that. that you're there to
We've
learn.
seen more people hit the door exit very quickly who got invited to a room
Sure.
that just could not keep it together.
Yeah, ego, I love it. Our mentor, Tiffany, said one time on a live, ego edging God out. Mm-hmm. And that always stuck with me because that's true. Ego is a man thing, like a man-made thing. I don't just mean like men.
Man. Yeah.
Right. It's a world thing where ego has no place in God's kingdom. Like, there is no ego, because if you have an ego, you're not relying on God.
Right.
You're relying on yourself. And so I think that's important, because I know recently we had a conversation and we were talking about applying for, contests and submitting to go on stages and going out on speaking tours. And I think you were shocked when I told you I'm really not looking to do that.
Yeah, I was shocked.
And I really just kind of left it at that for the day. Like, I'm really not looking to do that. And it was a couple days later we revisited the conversation because I knew you were struggling with that. And I said,
but I had to pray over it, because sometimes it's not about me and my timing. It's about what's best for you. And I know that you're really good at what you do in that arena. And I can't say this enough. If anyone's had the opportunity to hear you speak on stage, it is so inspirational.
Oh, well, thank
but
you.
not only
Appreciate
inspirational, but impactful. And so I feel like you have a message, and I feel like you have the charisma for it. There's a lot of things that you have that really work in your favor, but you've worked hard to get there.
Yeah.
I'm not discounting any of those things. Is it the right season? Is it timing? We have some other things on the table that are a little higher priority.
Yeah, it's not only that. Like, I agree. And I always chuckle. Like, people are like, you show up without notes. I'm like, listen, I know what God does. Like, when my foot hits that first step to get up on the stage, the digital download's coming. This is like, well, I'm glad that you prepared to talk about this, but this is what I need you to talk about. And sometimes you really have to do it on the fly and on the cuff, but he'll equip you to do that, because it's generally something that, I've spoken about before or it's a part I'm passionate about. But for me, it was really a season of growth. And I was like, I need to make this, I need to expand a little more, because sometimes I don't expand enough on why I'm saying no. And for me, it was, my ego needs to stay in check in this season. And the first part of next season, my ego has to stay in check. Because I've won multiple awards, spoken internationally, and there's a lot that comes with that. Everybody always says, oh, I want to be famous. And I'm like, there's a downside to being famous. There's a whole nother world you have to go in.
Expectations.
And that whole thing just feeds the ego. It just feeds the ego. And I really, when I was talking to people, I never really listened to what they said. And they were essentially saying, your ego is way ahead of you. Like, where are you at? Because all I see is your ego. But it was literally in one ear and out the other, because I was just so focused on what I was doing and what I wanted, not what I needed.
Right.
Because I don't need any award to know that I put out impactful stuff, because I believe in everything I put out for and why I put them out there. But I wanted it, and I wanted it bad. I was hungry, really hungry. And for me, when I took 35,000 steps backwards to really disengage myself and look at it like someone looking in, the root of all of it, which a lot of people, I just don't talk about this, it was a trauma response. Because all the people that said, I would never make it, I'm not worth anything, you'll never make it in this world without me. Every time I stepped on that stage to get an ego, it was like I was throwing them the finger, right? Haha, look at me now. I'm on the stage and you're in the cheap seats, right? You're watching me. I'll pop some popcorn as I go by. That's really what it was. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you know that you're only chasing that stuff to feed your bruised, your wounded self. I was wounded, and I didn't want to clean that wound. It was still there. I could still, like, my Christian counselor, she said, When are you going to evict these people from your mind? They're living there rent free. It's been so many years and they're still controlling your life. And that's a gut punch. And the same thing was about the awards. I didn't need any awards. God never spoke to me about anything about submitting my books for awards or any of that. I did that for my own selfish reasons. And I think when you can get to a place in your journey where you can be that truthful for yourself, because essentially, think about it, you're slapping yourself in the face, right? Like God is throwing the wet towel down and you're smacking yourself with it because you're just like, this is a real hard pill to swallow because I'm not like that. I'm not driven by ego. I don't believe your ego needs to play any place. Your ego has to stay away from you. Like truly it has to stay away because then you're not doing it for the kingdom and you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. I was doing it as a wound cleaner and really just throwing the finger back to the people that said I would never make it. And so they become empty. You know, they're in a beautiful showcase my mom put together for me. I can look at them now and really just appreciate it. You know, my book did that for me and I'm able to leverage those to get to the other places. But I had to tell you, like, I'm really in a place where I have a lot of projects going on that I'm working on with other people and still trying to fit mine in. And I'm really raw. And I'm in that place where it's just all wide open and it is not a time for me to be doing these things because when you are wide open and raw like that, your ego will step up to the plate. Yeah. And it, instead of, it's ugly. You know, it's like into baseball, like, hey, congrats to my Dodgers, repeat champions. I did not get hardly any sleep during those 7 games and Keisha paid the price for that because I was celebrating in the living room when we won rather loudly. And then silently. But I liken that to you step up to, like when you step up to the plate, if you know about baseball, your sole purpose is to get on base. Right. It's not to hit a home run. It's not to hit a grand slam. It's to get, you know, singles will beat you in a game. Yeah. You know, because a home run, not everybody can hit a home run. Right. So when I come up with my stuff, I'm just looking to get on base. Yeah. To do awareness, right? When my ego comes to the plate, it's looking for the grand slam. You're pointing over there. Like I'm doing the whole pointing thing. Like that's where it's going. And winding up my bat like Willie Stargell used to do, you know, and I'm ready. Like I'm hitting this grand slam. Like it is going to be about me. Yeah. It's my time. And I really had to learn what the kingdom version of my time is. Yeah. It's my time when God tells me to go do something and then I go do it because I'm a servant and I'm walking in obedience. Yeah. You know, obedience will get me further than my ego ever will. Absolutely. Because, and we can attest to this, God has opened doors for us. We would never, ever had the opportunity in our whole lives. Yes. And he opened those doors, but he opened those doors after I checked my ego. Yeah, out of obedience. Out of obedience. You know, my ego probably kept us out of a couple opportunities and I burned some good opportunities because my ego. And so I felt like when I told you that, I got it. I was like, it's not what I expected to hear, but I got it. It's just not a no for me. And I always liken that to, and I say, now, if you want to pursue doing podcasts and doing the things that feed your soul, absolutely go ahead. You don't need me to go with you all the time. And I think that's really what works for us. It's a pull. You know, it's a push and pull with us. It's your season to go do things. I'm back here working the business. Yeah. I'm writing the books, coaching the people, doing the editing. And so I think that's really important for people to understand because a lot of times we'll leave our ego unchecked because we don't want to know the full raw truth to ourselves. Well, there's times when I am the support person and not in the limelight. And then I know when I need somebody to come to stand next to me, you're the first person I call. Exactly. And I know that you will come no matter what and support me. So I get it. Yeah, you know, it's when we joined an organization, Keisha, and I know you'll understand what I'm going to say. I know. We were in an organization, right? And we were in there for quite some time. And then we were just walking a different way and we were being pushed in a different direction and being asked to do other things by God. And so we had to leave that organization. And it was a bumpy transition, right? And I remember I was having a phone call with someone and I said, my platform was already built before I ever got there. True story. It was built before I ever got there. I don't need any of your limelight. I don't need that. I'm here to support you and help you achieve your dream in the little way that God is asking me to help you. I'm not here to take your limelight. I don't even need your limelight. I have my own with God. You know, God's glory for me is for me. It's not for you.
What's meant for you is for you.
What's for me is for me. But I can help you get to yours if you're open to do that. And I think a lot of people miss that a lot.
Misunderstood it.
They misunderstood what I was saying because they thought my ego showed up. But I was just trying to be truthful in saying that I was already established before I got there.
Correct.
And so for me, I was parting peacefully because I knew that my brand was still there for me to walk to. And, I built that brand and had people helping me build the brand that wasn't associated with that organization. And it really was tough because then people call you and tell you what's being said. And I feel like this is a game changer point for people. When you can receive what people are saying, and quite frankly, I mean, you don't even really need to be talking about it with people, but everybody's going to tell you something of people saying, right? How you respond is what makes a difference. And this is how you know how much you've grown from your ego. If you respond and defend yourself, your ego is still in play.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like
no response is the response.
I moved on. Like no response is a response for me. Silence speaks a lot.
It does.
And people don't understand silence. They just think you're being rude. I've already moved on. I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying or what you're doing. It doesn't affect me where I'm at now.
True.
I'll still cheer for you. I'll still stand by the side and all of that. I'm just not going to be a part of that. And I think people misconstrue things and it gets difficult.
I do agree. I do agree with that. Well, confidence comes in so many different ways. Mindset, choosing to be healthy, breaking the mental stigma. Journal.
Is pizza choices healthy? It has tomatoes.
Yes.
It has tomatoes on it, right?
That's right.
That's a vegetable.
But I think that the way you feed your mind, body, and soul
Absolutely.
is the medicine that you need wherever that comes from that keeps you on a happy, healthy journey.
Yes, and let me ask you, Keisha, when we're talking about what you feed your mind, when you're in deep, dark times, what Christian song do you play for yourself?
The most?
What song plays the most?
Jacqueline Carr.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jacqueline Carr.
I got a tickle in my throat here.
She literally, we got to see her in person.
She was amazing.
She's a gospel singer.
Blew the roof off the place.
Cece Winan,
can't go
who
wrong
doesn't
with
love Cece and
Right.
BB? I have a lot of personal ones. I like Adele. She speaks,
not Christian.
Yeah, but she speaks.
Right.
She does speak to me in a lot of ways.
I mean, she may be. We don't know, but her music is
her
not
music
labeled as Christian.
labeled
Is what
Christian,
I was saying.
But, there's a lot of. I get a lot of joy and repetition from hearing the same song over, and I probably listened to it 3 times. I would say 2 or 3 times, but the repetition in me, the harder or the longer that I hear it, and I hear something different each time, and it plays on my heartstring, and it feels different each, part of the verse or the chorus or whatever. And there's songs that you can play and just tears just fall.
Oh, absolutely. Music just has that
control
response.
it.
Yeah,
It is the response. And then there's songs that can be played that I just cannot
stand.
Cannot.
Right. Cannot take
Cannot.
at that moment.
No.
Yeah.
And go into a military funeral.
Oh, those are tough.
It's gut wrenching for me. And then to hear, which is the most valiant thing.
Oh, taps.
Oh, and then to hear the guns. When I hear that gun,
21 gun salute. Yeah.
it's such a trigger for me.
Yeah.
Such a trigger. And then each shotgun, and
you have that like recoil
Yes.
where you're like that.
But it's so special.
Absolutely.
It is
It's
so
an honor.
special.
It's
an
honorable
honor
to them.
And it just is heart-wrenching though.
Yeah, it is.
So there's things that I use in my arsenal, and then there's some music. But I always come back to, I can't lie to the person in the mirror.
Yeah. Well, before you go into, I know where you're going to go into mirror work. When I have 3 Christian songs that really come to me. One is Hosanna. Mm-hmm. It's that whole part about, coming out of the sky in a cloud of fire, and then a whole generation rising up to take their place.
That's
that is like really big. And then, I have the anthem, which we got that song at Ray Higdon's.
That's right.
Shout out to Ray. He's
Higdon,
amazing.
Yeah.
Look him up. Get on his hot seat coaching on Fridays on Facebook. But she got up there and talked about how it was a big song for her.
Yes.
And so, you know me, I just
look it up.
Look it up and put it in my playlist. But it has this one part in the chorus where it says, I'm going to change the world. Mm-hmm. And so it's really like an anthem. When I need to go, I need that one. But really, the one I play a lot is Remembrance by Hillsong. Mm-hmm. And,
yes.
Where
very touching.
I believe it's Hillsong.
It is Hillsong.
Yeah, it's Hillsong. That whole part for me, it's where would I be without you? Mm-hmm. And I have to think back to that times, because a lot of my trauma came before I was ever saved.
Yeah.
And I always said, like someone said to me, because when I made some decisions, believe it or not, I saw Jesus in the doorway, and he said, this is not the life I had planned for you. And I had no idea who this man was, but I was not afraid. Mm-hmm. I was curious, and I really wanted to know what this plan was he had for me. And so that song for me really speaks to that, because I probably wouldn't be sitting in this seat if God didn't come down and scratch a hand for that. And so that's really a whole big reason why faith is so important to me, because if he chased me that hard when I wasn't saved, what's it going to be like when I am saved?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I agree.
And it's a win it kind of thing, kind of mindset. Like you have to have that mindset. You got to be in your purpose.
Yeah.
And when you're moving there, nothing matters. Things going on outside are distractions. Mm-hmm. You are just got the blinders on, and you're rolling with the assignment that you have.
I think that's really important to say, how you had the music, and I've had the Footprints poem.
Oh, Footprints in the Sand.
Footprints in the Sand, because he's always
stands the test of time.
Yes, walked right next to me, even when I couldn't feel him. Mm-hmm. He was right there, holding my hand.
I've always said, I listen to a lot of people when they're being interviewed by pastors. Yeah. And they had this one lady on me. Her story was so tragic, and it was happening to people around her. But she had made this comment that always stuck with me. And she said, and I'm paraphrasing this, when I start to pull away, God, just make sure you grab my finger.
Hand. Yeah.
My finger. Not my hand, my finger. What you think about it, you have your hand, and they're grabbing your hand right here. But your finger, there's very little to hold on to. And for me, that just speaks of the agony and despair you're in, and the lifeline that's coming down, that all he needs is your finger
to get your attention.
And even the nail, like, just hold on to that and just don't let me go. Even when I pull away, don't completely let me go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing that has to stay in your mind, because we all pull away.
Yeah.
Right. We all pull away. And he knows that. He knows what we're going to do. And a lot of times we're caught in trauma responses, or, sitting in the weight of our decisions. Sometimes it's not a trauma response. It's the weight of the decision you made. And you have to understand that. So,
or the consequences.
Right. Every decision has a consequence. Mm-hmm. So I will say, as far as mirror work, I don't do that. I have talked about in previous episodes, sometimes I still struggle with the overweight me when I look in the mirror. But I will say, the first time I saw your mirror stuff, I was like, did she write this? Well, I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. and then my next thought was, did she write this in lipstick? And what will happen if I just erase it off? Like, will she remember what she wrote here? Because I really want to know if it's in lipstick.
It's not lipstick.
And then I saw the different colors and I was like, well, she don't even wear that color lipstick. So these have to be pens or some kind of mirror pen or whatever. But why don't you go ahead in the last couple of minutes we have, Keisha, and talk about mirror work, because I don't think a lot of people understand the mirror work. I know you alluded to it at the beginning.
Yeah.
But maybe just talk about like the benefit. I know you said you use it in your daily routine and all of that, but let me ask this in a different way. What happens when obviously you clean off your mirror because you change it, but in that time from where you had everything on there until now you're approached with your empty mirror, what does that do to you to see the empty mirror?
I don't know how to function. And for me, there's no plan. And without organization and, again, routine, I feel like I'm failing.
Yeah.
And that's a reminder for me. So when it is empty, I feel like I'm running amok. And I have to have the discipline to get my thoughts and my actions and my accountability on that mirror. Because I do hold myself accountable to the mirror.
Right.
Because when I look in the mirror, I don't see the wounded child any longer. But when I first looked in the mirror, I would always see the wounded child. When I wanted to grow up and be a wallflower and not let anybody know that I knew that I was even in the room, right? And I didn't have a voice and I just wanted to be hidden, I could see her. That was the wounded child. When my parents got divorced and, you went from everything to nothing.
Right.
And you're trying to figure out where you're going, what's happening, all those things. And I thought, okay, this is my time. I don't have to be that person anymore.
Right.
I can be somebody new. And I'm a teenager then. And, but I was still the wounded girl.
Yeah.
Because I was left behind. I was left behind. And I felt like
you have to heal the little girl first.
You have to heal the little girl first, who was always hiding. And when my dad was drunk and obnoxious, I would hide in the coat closet and put coats over me so he couldn't find me. Because he would drag you out of bed at 2:00 in the morning for a family meeting.
Right. Like you're surrounded by darkness. Like
always.
Visually, that's a big thing to know that your only way to save yourself essentially is to put yourself in darkness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, so it took a long time to get past those things, but the more you do it in the mirror, and it's practice, it takes practice every single day, repetition. I have a clicker.
The R word.
The clicker. And the repetition, but, I have a clicker. And if you can say your, Bible verse 100 times, you say it 25 times, 4 times a day, whatever it is, the repetition will ingrain it in you. And it becomes easier and easier and easier.
Right.
And so it depends on what your priorities are. But for me, when I look in the mirror, I'm not lying to the girl I see, because I can see her in so many different stages, but I can also feel her in her growth and I can celebrate her. I'm like, high five, and I do high five myself, and I'm not afraid to say it. I love to celebrate myself. This has been the most incredible year of growth. Incredible year of growth. Now, was it all, peaches and cream? No.
There was some volcano eruptions
in this year, but I'm going to tell you, I made it through it. And I never gave up. When people challenge your credibility and your authority, and they want to discount you in ways that had nothing to do with you. Your integrity, how you speak to people, all of those kinds of things. My confidence took a hit. But every day I got myself up and I looked in the mirror and, I made peace with the woman I see. And I know that I'm doing the right thing every single day. And I can see my growth from this year because of that.
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't give up.
And what kind of pens do you use to write on your mirror?
Anything that you'd use on a whiteboard, you can use on a mirror.
Okay, so like the whiteboard.
Yeah,
not like Sharpies or just like the whiteboard.
And they have ones for mirrors also, and they have ones for chalkboards, and I like the colorful ones.
Right. Yeah.
And so I try to make it fancy, but it works for me. And it's a daily reminder. It's a daily reminder. And sometimes I'll take where I'm standing and brushing my teeth, that little shape above you.
Yeah.
And I always put something important to me. And one of the things I've kept on all this year is I was made for more. And I believe that I was made for more.
Absolutely.
And that this has been my year of growth. And it's because I have worked beyond my boundaries. And if you're not outside your comfort zone, you're not growing.
That's very true. You're not growing. And it's the soil where you're planted is very important.
And if you're not being watered.
Right. I listened to a sermon one time and he said, you can't put a tree in a teacup.
That's right.
Because the teacup will hold the tree to the teacup. Yep. The tree won't break the cup. And that's really important to understand. Your soil matters where you're going to go, right? It's totally going to matter. I love that you do the mirror work. For me, I'm always, I read it all. I'm like, oh, she's changed it. I see different colors and reading the different signals and all that. But I think that's great. It's important for people to know that. And listen, you can thrive. You can live a good life. Your trauma and the situations you've been through, they don't have to define who you are.
That's right.
Unless you let them.
Unless I let them.
Define who you are.
And they don't have the power over me.
Right. Your character isn't built by how many times you fall or even how many times you get up. It's how you conduct yourself on the way up.
That's right.
That's very important.
Well, you have three things in life: your word, your name, and how you treat people.
I know.
And that is my life lesson. My grandma taught me that from a very young age, probably at 10. And I've never forgotten.
Yeah.
My grandmother would say, you are an Oxley. You perform to your name. We hold this name very dear and dear to our hearts. We're Oxleys. We've come from across the water. That's a strong name. We're English, Irish. And so just all of the heritage and stuff that comes with that. Mm-hmm. And your word is how you show up for people. People used to do business on a handshake. And and your word mattered.
Absolutely.
And now people's words don't mean anything. But I could still do business on a handshake because I honor my word and my commitments.
What do you feel about this statement, Keisha? I don't know where we are on time, but what do you feel about this statement that I'm going to say? Your brokenness keeps you broke.
Ooh, I think that's a true statement.
Yeah, it's mindset, right?
It's mindset.
Mindset. Broke mentality won't cure your brokenness.
That's right.
You'll still be broken.
You have to get out and get an expansion.
Right. And sometimes it takes someone coming alongside. You alluded to this during the conversation, that support.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to find someone. You're not meant to go it alone. You're just not meant to go it alone.
Well, I think.
Listen, Jesus had 12 disciples.
Right.
And when crap hit the fan and stuff got real, 3.
Yeah.
That's a lesson in itself about your circle and your inner circle.
That's for sure.
And then at the end, there was one. One stood at the cross with Jesus. One.
And I want to be the one.
Right.
And
you got to have that one. Like, the Bible says where 2 go, it's better. And add Jesus in and you got 3. And you're even better. So, I want to close on this. I know we call this confidence because people understand confidence. But really, it's Godfidence.
Oh, gosh.
Knowing that I can't, but God can.
Won't he do it?
And I've always said, if you're flying the airplane and God is the co-pilot, you're in the wrong seat.
Yeah.
You're in the wrong seat, right? So it's a Godfidence. Keep God in control. Let him dictate the steps that you go to, and your life you will meet people that will change your life. And we're going to talk about some of those things in later episodes of the podcast of how our lives really were changed when we started really shifting to a kingdom mindset and seeing it as looking for the patterns that God had put in our life. We call them God winks.
Yeah.
There is no coincidence. It's God winks.
For sure.
Right? So remember, Godfidence, knowing I can't, but he can. Stay unchartered, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Hey, this is Keisha. It's important that you leave your comments because we'd love to know about it. We'd also like for you to subscribe, like, share, and tag. See you next time.
Hi, this is Chrissy. Thanks so much for watching our episode today. Be sure to stay tuned for our featured song. Can't wait to see you next week.
What an interesting melody.
Once upon a time, they called me brilliant, but when love fades, tell me where that go. I was so lost on my research, me cursed, my heart became a black hole. I got in tune with the melodies, it started telling me congrats, bravo. The notes to me by the hand, we did a little dance, it grabbed me like lasso. And right from the gravel, I was rock bottom, but I'm coming up. I run it, they kissing the ground, and I walked over, now the ground is something I do not touch. You'll find yourself between a rock and a hard place, trying to mess with me, oh, you tough. I don't really give a flux, why? Cause the universe speaks to me. It's singing its tone, that melody set on where I need to be. Been flow so long, ain't touched the ground, it's like I don't need my feet. What goes up must come down. I was down, now I'm up. Hands up, get them stuck. Hands up. Hands up, hands up. Keep them up.
Keep those hands up.
Hands up. Hands up.
Keep them up.
Hands
The
up.
more I listen,
Hands
the
up.
more I feel alive. What goes up
Must come down. I was down. Now I'm up.
don't understand the gravity of this situation.
I'm out of this galaxy. You don't understand the gravity of this situation on my anatomy. To be chosen by the universe and to play a part in this strategy. With one flick of my wrist, I could probably cause a catastrophic casualty. So I got it down to a science class is in session. Come and meet the faculty. Get this MC squared, now this MC lit. Now they wanna be a MC too. If I was them and I heard what I heard and shit, I probably attempted to. The melody starts dragging in, grab a friend, come about to have a dance. The mad scientist is off in the lab again every time. The universe speaks to me. It's singing its tone, that melody set on where I need to be. Been flow so long, ain't touched the ground, it's like I don't need my feet. What goes up must come down. I was down, now I'm up. Hands up, get them stuck, yeah.
Well done. What a fascinating experiment.